Your software needs to be compliant to win deals, but you also need your engineers focused on building your product, not pulling SOC 2 evidence. Enter a third option. Make Vanta your first security hire. Vanta uses AI and automation to get you compliant fast, simplify your audit process, and unblock deals, so you can prove to your customers that you take security seriously. Plus, Vanta scales right along with you, backed by support that's there when you need it every step of the way. That's why top startups like Cursor, Linear, and Replit use Vanta to get and stay secure. Don't SOC block your best engineer. Set them free and get compliant fast with Vanta. Get started at Vanta.com.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the hockeythinktank.com and the Hockey Think Tank U, place for all passionate players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. We got two guys coming on from the Ohio Hockey Project. We have Russ Sinkewich and Charlie Cook. Russ is Ohio born and bred, also played his college hockey at Bowling Green before embarking on an awesome professional hockey career. Charlie, one of my former teammates, one of favorite teammates of all time, grew up in Michigan, played Cornell with myself. He was a senior when I came in as a freshman. Awesome leader. He also had a phenomenal professional hockey career too, and now they run the Ohio Hockey Project together and doing some amazing things, particularly in the Cleveland area. So really, really, really great hockey guys. But we also got another great hockey guy that you all know and love. He's got tattoos all the way up and down. He's got a 1-year-old daughter now, Sophie Taylor Lavecchio. No, it wasn't an accident that her initials are STL. That's just the way that this guy is. Jeffrey Jehu Lavecchio, what's up, brother? I feel like I'm on fire right now. Let's go.
What an intro. What did you drink before this episode, bro?
Hey, you know what, Vex? You know what? I'm 5 days into an elimination diet. So elimination diet to figure out what foods are ailing myself inside the old body here. So have not eaten any like gluten or dairy or processed foods. It's basically.
And do you notice a difference within 5 days already?
Like there's like two things. There's like a little bit of withdrawal. So like there's a little bit of like type stuff. But there's like, I feel so like mentally more clear and my energy, it's like not even funny. Like these food companies are poisoning us. I don't want to go maybe that far, but maybe I should go that far anyways. But so yeah, feeling great. Let's go.
Dude,
what's up?
I absolutely love to hear that. I love to hear that. You know, parents listening, coaches listening, you want things that will move the needle quicker than maybe anything else. It's nutrition and sleep, because there's things that you do every single day. You're not going to the rink to practice every day. And with nutrition, you know, depending on the age, they're eating 3 to 6 times per day plus snacks. So if you make those 10%, 20%, 50% better, healthier meals, times 3 to 6 times a day, times 7 days a week, times 4 weeks a month, times 12 months a year, you are making a major impact on your players' mental health, physical health, their intelligence, their ability to process problems quickly on the ice. Like it is a game changer. So I love to hear that, Toph. That's freaking awesome. I'm doing great, man. I'm getting text messages left and right. Yesterday sent out my first email about what we talked about on the last episode, last Monday episode, with the new advising thing that GMT, my company, is going to be doing with Michael Hunnebrinker, the video and the mentorship calls and the workouts that are individualized to each player's schedule, and getting a lot of text messages coming in here today as we just sent that email out last night. So
nice.
Pretty excited to get that going, man.
There we go.
Yeah, buddy.
Vecchio just diversifying his portfolio all over.
reminded me of Meet the Fockers when he's like, Owen Wilson, how's your portfolio? I'd say strong.
Strong.
Quite strong.
To quite strong. Yeah. Is that a hopa?
Yeah, talk about another strong guy here, Russ Sinkewich. That guy was a monster in the gym. Was pretty happy that we had him on the podcast. Haven't seen him in at least a decade and a half, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, you know what? Like part of the reason why I love doing this podcast is it connects us with like just obviously really good hockey people, but just really good people. And, I don't know Russ as well. Obviously Charlie and I played together at Cornell and have kept in touch after all these years. And he's told me so many great things about Russ and the things that he's doing in Ohio Hockey Project. But just the word genuine comes to mind. Just these two guys are just genuinely good dudes who really want to make the game better for the kids in their area and beyond. And I think that came out in spades in our conversation. And we want to amplify and we really want to highlight just a lot of the good that's going on. Certainly we talk about some of the ills that are plaguing our game. And I think it's important to call those things out and have discussions about that. But when we get the opportunity, first and foremost, to bring people on who are doing great things in our game and are genuine people like that, I love doing that. And I love learning from those kinds of people. And I think that really came out in this episode with Russ and with Cooker, like just two great human beings doing an awesome job in their markets.
Yeah. And I really like when we bring on people who are working in the market or the city that they grew up in and you hear the passion in their voice to give back. To change the way things are that they don't like right now, to revert them back to how they were when we were coming up, more principles and life lessons and all these things versus the craziness that sometimes creeps into our game. And I'm sure all sports too, but I really, really do enjoy when we have guys who are in their hometown battling to make hockey in their area better. And you could hear that in Russ's voice, which was pretty cool because you and I are the exact same.
Yeah, man. They, you can tell like the passion, passion, genuine and passion are two probably words that fit very well with that podcast episode and the one that you guys are going to hear in just a couple minutes. And so, before we do get over to those guys though, we do have some people to thank. First and foremost, want to thank our title sponsor, icehockeysystems.com, the best website out there for all your coaching education needs. But also not just coaches anymore. They are coming out with family accounts. So now they have things for parents and players out there, which is incredible. We've partnered with them on that, on top of the fact that you can get this for every single coach in your organization as well, doing an associations platform. So guys, like, again, talk about genuine, talk about good people. These people who run Ice Hockey Systems are the best, and all the companies that we partner with, honestly. But go to icehockeysystems.com, check it out, and check out the associations platform. That's another one of our partnerships that we have with them. Get this for every single coach within your organization, and it'll be a huge value add. So many of the clubs that we work with already are working with Ice Hockey Systems, and everybody has always great feedback about it. So go to icehockeysystems.com today. Jeffrey.
Yeah, buddy. I want to say a massive thank you to Train Heroic. You guys have heard me say it every episode for years now. Train Heroic is the awesome app that allows me to work with thousands of players every single year across the world. Whether you're an individual player, a team, or an entire organization, I can help you train for cheaper and super quality, and you get direct access to me. All of your players get direct access to me, where they can message me through the app anytime, and it's always me answering. It's not one of the coaches that works for me. I program everything into the app, every single exercise, anything I have your players doing, from warm-ups to cool downs to stretches to mobility to lifting to jumping, sprinting. Every single thing in the app is a video of me demonstrating coaching what perfect form should look like and how they can do it the right way to get the most out of it. So thank you to Train Heroic. And if you're an individual, team, organization out there looking to level up your offerings to all of the players and families in your organization, all you have to do is reach out to my Instagram at Jeff Lavecchio or my Twitter. Send me a DM. We can get on a phone call, talk about ways that we can work together, and I can help you help your players more. Thank you, Train Heroic.
Help me help you, Rod. Help me help you. Also want to thank Helios Hockey, one of the best products on the market. It is a sensor that you put into your shoulder pads that gives you real-time feedback on your play, particularly when we're talking about your stride length and your speed, and also what the kids love in a hustle score. And so anytime that you move on the ice, it moves and also pairs up with whatever video you're using. So all your reps in practice or all your shifts in the game gets directly cut up for you right afterwards. Just an unbelievable development tool as well. Also talking to a bunch of NHL scouts this week. They're getting into full swing here. The junior seasons are starting and everything like that. The college seasons are right around the corner. Speed, man, speed kills. Skating, got to be able to skate in today's game. And this is just a great developmental tool to be able to develop your skating a little bit better. And so if you go to helioshockey.com, we have a coupon code with them. It is Think Tank, one word. And if you use that, you will get 20% off your you'll get 20% off your pro annual or your pro 24-month subscription, or you can go to helioshockey.com/teams if you want a discount for your entire team. Also want to thank Crossbar. Crossbar is an unbelievable website that helps you to run your youth hockey organization way more efficiently. The software solution is something that so many clubs that I know of are switching over to, from kind of like your big box over to Crossbar, and they've been so happy that they have. Every hockey director, literally every hockey director or president that I've spoke to has been so happy about it. It's got a sleek website design, just really, really easy to use. They have registration for everything from big picture season to everyday things like drop-ins, clinics, and lessons. They got a club scheduler, 5-star communication app, and tools and reporting for volunteers, facilities, and for finances. It is your one-stop shop to help run your youth organization a lot more efficiently. So go to crossbar.org today and check that out. And lastly, thank you to all of our amazing listeners. We love you guys so much, man. We're coming up on 7 years here, guys. Like we're a couple months away from 7 years of doing this podcast, which is absolutely crazy. The fact that we're here. And so we would not be continuing to do this if it wasn't for the support that you give us and the messages and the feedback and everything like that. So we love that for a couple different reasons. Number one, we want to get better. We want to hear from you. We want to know things that you want to hear about so we can make our product better. And also, if you think we're doing a solid and a positive for the hockey world, it allows us to get more ears when you're on your podcast app, whether it's iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, shooting us a rating, shooting us a review. It goes a long way to helping the algorithm and helping us to find some more ears to get into. So we love you guys. If you can do that, that would be amazing for us. You're going to love these two people that we're bringing on the podcast as well. Genuine and passion, man. That's what these two guys exude. So without further ado, here we go with Ohio Hockey Project's Russ Sinkewich and Charlie Cook. We are so excited to have on this episode of the podcast, not one, but two guests out in the Cleveland, Ohio area. They are the Ohio Hockey Project. We got one of my favorite teammates of all time, Charlie Cook, and we got Russ Sinkewich. Boys, how are we doing today?
Thanks for having us.
Wonderful. Let's talk some hockey.
Hope says that about everybody on the podcast, just so you know.
I do not. That's actually not true.
That's false.
Actually, it probably is true, but that's okay. I had a lot of great teammates, Vex. It's all right. It's all good. Well, hey, guys, let's introduce you to our listeners here really quick. Charlie grew up in Port Huron, Michigan. Russ grew up in Ohio there. Charlie, the elder statesman, a little bit more gray in the beard since the last time I saw you. But tell us a little bit about how you fell in love with hockey, and I'm sure Papa Cook is going to be a big part of that one.
Absolutely. Growing up in Michigan, it's the old thing, backyard on the pond. That was it. And, I was fortunate to be in an area where, Port Huron has always had hockey going back to the old IHL. And in fact, I think my neighbor across the street, Billy Watt, was MSU's leading scorer and still holds a record in the GLI tournament back there. And you're just surrounded by hockey people that love the game. There's, winters are tough, and it's a great way to get out and get some exercise during the winter. And that's where it happened. That's where the love came for the game.
Absolutely love it. And how about you, Russ? Growing up in Ohio, what was your entrance in the game? How'd you end up falling in love with it?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think is just thank God my parents just exposed me to a lot of different sports as a kid. I no one in my family had ever played the game or no underlying plan from my dad or anything like that. It was just they put me in the game at a young age and I took to it and I loved it and I had a ton of fun with it. And Yeah, like probably every kid and every player that takes the game as far as they can. I loved every single aspect about it. It was so different than going to a field or a court or anything like that for other sports. And I rode the wave as long as I could.
I love that. And then you're giving back to the community now with what you're doing with the Ohio Hockey Project. Talk much, Toph. Cooker, let's go back to you here, because we obviously shared some years together, or shared 1 year together at Cornell. I came in as a freshman, you were a senior. I'd love to hear from your perspective, because and I've told the story on the podcast before about one of our traditions at Cornell being, when you're a freshman, you arrive to campus and there's 7 or 8 guys that are waiting there for you to go up and move all of your stuff into your apartment. Like, I literally did not touch a box. I didn't touch a bag, a piece of furniture, anything. The fellas, they moved me in, and within 10 minutes, I felt like I was a part of a team and felt like, I was a part of something awesome. And so just talk a little bit about your time at Cornell, what that was like. And you were probably, of all the years Shafe had, as far as like 4 years, your class was probably the most successful one ever at Cornell in his tenure, I would imagine, getting to a Frozen Four, getting close another couple years. So talk about a little bit about your time there, what it was like.
Yeah, man. So my timing was phenomenal. You're playing junior hockey and all you heard about was hazing. And this program does this and this program.
Yeah, this was late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah.
And Vermont just got in big time trouble. So when we stepped foot on campus, all of that was gone, right? Every program, every head coach was so scared. And so coming into, they still got us. They still did our things, but it wasn't to the degree of what the horror stories we had heard before. So that started to change. I think if I'm thinking about the time you were coming in, we did. My class was surrounded by a ton of unbelievable teammates ahead of us and below us, right? And we're very fortunate to be part of those teams. You're right. Like, I go back, like, I think I think we had like 99 wins in 4 years, which in the Ivies, when you're only playing 30 games, that's a lot of wins. There was only a couple clubs ahead of us in that time, and Denver being one of them, but they also played 43 games a year. So like, we had multiple seasons, especially your freshman year, where you could count your losses on one hand, We won a lot of hockey games. I think like when you were coming in, we had just kind of gone through what was a tough year in terms of the standard at Cornell. We had a winning season, but we did not make the tournament our junior year. And I think like we knew that the freshman class coming in was going to be counted on not watching, but contributing. And I think there was a conscious effort to pull you guys in right away and make you feel part of it right away, because the team needed it. And I think that was kind of across the board. And I think as you go, you're kind of wide open, eyes wide open your freshman year. What's going on here? Am I going to survive college hockey? And I think you probably got to that point too, where you're losing a class ahead of you. Who's going to come in and fill that? And it was so important being a junior and senior to have the mentality of like, we got to bring this team in together. And you don't have much time, you don't have much time to do it with a new team in the season, with the pressure of school and everything. So that was definitely our thought process. And I hope you felt it as a freshman. I know I find you quite a bit, but I hope you felt
yes,
that.
you did. Actually, I have a couple stories here. One's kind of a funny one, and one is actually goes along the lines of what you're talking about. So, Fax, I don't even know if I've ever told you this story. So, Cooker actually was the guy that take me around on my visit. I don't know if you even remember that, Charlie, but one of the funniest things happened. So at Cornell, right, it's like beautiful, and there's a bunch of gorges and lakes and things like that. And one of the things that you could do is you can go like bridge jumping, like jump off the bridge into the water and swim and stuff. And so we went. I don't know if you remember this, but we went. It was just the two of us. And you went first and you dove in. And then all of a sudden I get up, and right behind me, I hear, if you jump, you're coming with me. I turn around and it's a cop. And I didn't know this, but apparently it's illegal to do that, but everybody does it anyway. So here I am, I'm a recruit. and you hear about Shafe, he's like this larger than life kind of coach or whatever, discipline and everything like that. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to jail on my visit. But he's like, just get down and you better tell that guy that just went, he better start running. And so I'm like, oh my God. Do you remember that, Cooker?
Yeah, it was that was a ton of fun. You're right in the middle, about 20 feet down, like have at it, right?
But on the other side of it,
big jumping.
yeah, that was pretty wild. But ended up going to Cornell, so it was part of a fun experience. But the other thing, just going back to what you said about like welcoming us in, like you guys did that from a logistical perspective in terms of you guys were always around and including us in everything. We had our Sunday night or Sunday evening entourage, at the hockey house, watching Entourage and football and all that kind of stuff. But the other thing, and I didn't know this story until later on, but the year before, you guys had a really good power play, and all 5 guys from that unit came back, right? It's because Vest was kind of hurt, right? And so all 5 guys came back, and Shafe took our senior captain, Mike Knopfler, off that power play the next year and put me on there, a freshman who had done nothing. And because Mike Knopfler is one of the greatest captains I've ever had, he didn't pout about it. He didn't, he wasn't whatever. He just kind of like, all right, I'll go on the second unit. And our power play as a team was number 1 in the country the next year. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that Mike Knopfler had 7 power play goals on the second unit. Mm-hmm. So it's just like that class that you guys had, the leadership and the welcoming of us as freshmen, like there was nothing better. And I think that's a big part of the reason why we only lost 5 games the entire year, man. Was we were so bought in. Everybody contributed, even the guys that weren't in the lineup, like they were awesome team guys. And it was, I'll never forget that year. That was amazing. And you guys had a big part of that. So to answer your question, yes, like very much appreciated by us young bucks.
It's so cool to hear.
Yeah. And on that topic, like that happens now, and they're going to other schools when that happens. Yep. And wow, what a shift in that is kind of scary. I had a really good talk with a pro coach who was saying, sometimes they're dealing with like 23-year-old guys that have never gone through adversity. They have three colleges on their resume. They're a high draft pick. They're coming in. They've never, when things got tough, the situation wasn't ideal, they kind of jumped ship. And now they're in a system where they're going through maybe not making the lineup for the first time. They got no place to transfer to. And you imagine being 23 and I mean, and that's your first time you're experiencing that and how to handle it. So it's a little wild out there today, coaching.
Yeah, no question.
How do you guys feel about the whole transfer portal things that are going down now as former college hockey players who it really wasn't a thing when we played?
Oh, Charlie and I talk about it. And we talk about it with, obviously we coach a ton of college and pro kids and junior kids and stuff, but it's such a different landscape. We all know that, but it's kind of sad because, like when we came through, like you didn't if you transferred, you were 99% of the time deemed a problem. Not only did you were punished, you'd sit out a year. If you're young enough, you can go back to junior or whatever, but like it was super problematic in more times than not, unless you statistically just jumped off the page, which is like, it's interesting because like part of me, if I could rewind time and I had today's rules, I would have transferred because I wasn't in a great situation, and it wasn't about bailing out. It would be about, finding a good opportunity where you're wanted. Because, in my situation, I went to Bowling Green. I had a phenomenal experience, phenomenal teammates. I graduated early and I left like at the start of my senior year to go to sign with Cleveland in the American League. But it was a situation of like, in our organization, in our club, we never had the pieces connect like it sounds like you guys had at Cornell. One year we had great leadership, but we maybe lacked structure or culture or coaching. Another year we had great coaching. And I had 9 assistant coaches in my 4 years.
What?
So every single year, like the guys that gave me a full ride, Kevin Patrick, awesome coach, found me in Cornwall. He took a job with Wisconsin before. I literally never shook his hand to thank him. And like
KP is awesome too. Yeah. Shout out to KP. Great.
KP. just got a kid hooked up at Culver, where he's coaching now. But it's one of those things that, like, a situation like that could have really benefited a player like me, because new coaches, they got their guys and they want to move up the ladder just as much as the players do. So, that's kind of a hard situation, because, in my situation here, I am on a full ride, and I value being a student athlete. I don't want to walk away from that and burden my family or whatever. But as far as the transfer portal and all that stuff goes, like, I personally don't necessarily love it, though, because Charlie just said it, you don't work through adversity. It's this culture of, like, instant results. And if I don't like it, I'm out, holding, and I can't even imagine what it's like, like an NCAA, like football or something like that. But, like, it's now players holding organizations ransom and putting themselves ahead of the team, which fundamentally, like, I really kind of have a problem with. But we don't make the rules, and I think it says a lot about being a great coach in an organization to adapt to them and whatever. But it's fascinating.
Toph, let me ask you something. I think we had a conversation, one of the alumni things, of when you were kind of deciding to kind of step out of your role at Cornell, and it was like on the side of having a young family and the demand of, like, being on the road. Like, if we're talking about, like, the situation and what's going on, like, if you're a recruiter, I don't even think there's ever a time where you're not recruiting now.
Well, I mean, no, the answer to your question is, I'll pose it in a question. Are guys stressed as, at that level right now? Yes, they are, because there's no off season. Even when you commit a kid, you're basically only committed to him for a year, because you never know about the transfer portal, or if another team is going to come and try to recruit them on top of you. Gone are the days of you recruit a kid and that kid is your property, if that's what you want to call it, for 5-6 years, if you recruit them out of junior hockey. So yes, like, even though there's a logo on a line chart in a junior program or a college program, it doesn't mean that kid is going to have that logo the next year. And so there's a lot of, you're seeing it now. I mean, a lot of kind of, like, head coaches that have been in it for a while are like, nah, I'm good. This ain't what I signed up for. This is not the college hockey that I knew. And so you're seeing, and I'm not going to put words in their mouth and say that's why they're doing it, because I'm sure there's a lot of different reasons why they're retiring, but I would imagine that's one of them. And then you talk to a bunch of assistant coaches and you get a spectrum. You get some assistant coaches who hate the way that the system is, and they're going to, complain about it and whatever, blah, 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 blah. And there's a lot of reasons to hate it and complain, because their workload and the stress that it puts on them and probably their families is insane. But then most of the guys that I know and the women on the women's side, it's like, hey, this is it. This is just the way that it is. And we're going to have to adapt to the different landscape. And we're going to have to do what's best based upon what I feel is best for our program and how I feel morally and ethically about the way that we want to build our team. And so I think that the ones that I think are doing it best right now understand that this is just a new landscape, like it or not, better or worse. You can have different types of conversations about that, but it's a lot harder to be a college coach today than it was even when I was in it and left, because of the demands and the new family and all that. It's even harder today for a lot of these coaches, for sure.
Well, I mean, and just think on the other side, on the player side, I don't envy. I mean, we have a number of kids that we've trained here that have been decommitted from the schools because they upgraded kids out of major junior, which is clearly it's the opportunity and the prerogative of the organization, and you get that. But I don't want to discredit what people did or players did when we came through, because we earned it and it's hard and whatever. But it was a little bit more black and white of you go, you work hard, you produce, you fill a role, you carry yourself with professionalism, you're a good teammate, all these different qualities that kind of showcase your integrity. And if you do well enough, like you're going to find a path if you're good enough, right? Where now there's so many more factors. And the thing that I get really sad about that I see, and maybe I'm sure Charlie would agree with me developmentally, is I'm a late bloomer. I got really good at hockey and finding my role when I was like 19, 20, 21. And really, I think my game specifically, I was in my best at like 26 to 30. That was when the game slowed down, and I felt I made a really tangible impact on every shift, whether it's at the Coast or the American League or whatever. But like, gone are the days of giving kids like me, like, I grew 7 inches after I graduated high school. Like, that doesn't, I was a completely different player, you know? And that's the hardest part, is like 2 years of junior hockey, I developed, and I went from Ohio high school hockey to Eastern Junior League in Portland, Maine, Cornwall, Ontario, Lincoln, Nebraska to Bowling Green. And it was such an organic progression of development. And that's the thing that I just get really sad about, is like, every junior organization, it is doubling down on finding a polished product at 16, 17 years old. And now now that's turned into skating 5-6 days a week as a peewee or a bantam, or online academies, or this crazy training, keeping up with the Joneses. And you're just like, whoa, man, my youth, I did other things than hockey, and that was really healthy for me mentally. And I was refreshed and ready to go when I went to camps or the hockey season rolled along. And I was never burned out, because I loved every aspect of it. And that's the thing that I like philosophically, not having any skin in the game from, you know, college coaching or pro scouting or anything like that. I just sit back from my 30,000 foot view, and I'm like, man, I don't.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts, dude.
It's coming through, and it's like, God, that. And then social media, like, that's a whole nother. Now you're comparing yourself, and you have my hockey rankings, and you have all these things that it's like, whoa, there's a lot of noise that didn't exist in our space coming through.
Well, and I think something that's filtered down even lower than those ages you're talking about, which then like opens this whole can of worms, and it just seems to get wider every year, is, you know, the youngest players and coaches see what's happening at the older ages. So then they start doing the 6 days a week and the skating all summer long, and even younger ages. And it's like, and because of that, you know, and Topher and I, it's hard to talk about because it's hard to articulate, you know, and we try our best. We want to teach the value in winning. We want to teach it's important to try your hardest to win, but we don't, as the adults, need to know that it's not life or death if your 8-year-old team wins or loses. There's lessons that should be taught. And I feel like because of this over professionalization and this like kind of selfish leaning, we've kind of grown into how other sports, I believe, are way more selfish individualistically versus how hockey was when we grew up. It started so young that now coaches, they care about the winning and the records and the My Hockey rankings instead of all the life lessons that we had, that our coaches were constantly putting into the game, because it wasn't life or death at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at these ages that don't matter. They don't matter. We're just trying to make good kids, and like, you're doing the right things, everything goes correctly up the chain, but like, we've stopped doing the right things at the youngest ages is what we're seeing.
So let me add on to that. Let me add on to that, Vex, because I think this is really important for all the coaches and the parents to hear. And so all 4 of us played Division I hockey. All 4 of us played pro hockey, albeit some different levels than others. I was doing a parent talk in Pittsburgh with the Penn's youth organization there, and it's AAA club. You know, a lot of kids that will eventually end up playing juniors and hopefully college, maybe even pro. And one of the things I'm big on when I'm talking to parents and kids right now is we all played Division I, so we've been blessed by at least some kind of talent, you know, from God, where we have an athletic ability and this and that. However, when I think about why I made it, or each of us think about why we made it, yes, it was because of the talent, but it's more because of the life skills that we have. Like, I would not have made, and I look back to like specific events that I've had in my life where a specific life skill has been developed in me. And that's a big part of the reason why, like, I got cut multiple times growing up. I had to learn how to be resilient. Had I not learned that, doesn't matter how talented I am, I don't become a Division I player. You know, there were certain times where I was held accountable to a certain standard of effort, whether it was at home, whether it was by a coach, whatever. Had I not learned that life skill, there's zero chance I would have become a Division I hockey player. And so we put so much focus when we talk about like getting to the next level on the hockey stuff. But like, we all know you don't make it to those levels without the life skills. And so what are we doing to help facilitate and build and develop these life skills in these players? That needs to be so much more of the focus of what we do. Obviously, yes, we need to teach these kids through video and on the ice about hockey, but you don't achieve the highest levels of the game unless you are, supremely talented. And let's not, like, there are kids like that, but they're very few and far between. Like, you have to have the life skills. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, perfectly personified last night. I was covering for one of my coaches at one of my gyms, and the whole team is on time except for a couple players, and the whole team was like, "Oh, these guys are always late," and they're the best players, and they think they don't got to be here, and kind of alluding to the fact that, like, coaches kind of let them go, or maybe they aren't hold fully accountable. So I wheeled the bike in and I turned the resistance up as far as I could go. And when the first kid got there who was late, I was like, "You're on the bike." And he's like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "You're on the bike and you pedal as fast as you can until I say stop." He's like, "I could barely move it." And I was like, "You don't stop until I say get off the bike." And just standing in his face. And I made him do it until he was about to cry. And I was like, "Okay, join the workout." Then the second kid came in. I made him do the same thing. But after I brought them all together, and I'm like, "Listen, I didn't make you guys do that because I don't like you. I didn't make you guys do that because of this or that other thing. But you need to learn that you're part of a team, and every single other player on this team was here. And it was life lesson time." And I told him why. And I said, I still am not mad at you, right? But you need to take accountability for your actions. That's what men do. When you make a mistake, you make it right. You learn what you needed to do better, and then you adapt and you apply next time, and you do not let that happen again. And I talked about, the coach came in and he's like, "What if you were late for work? What if you did this?" And all of a sudden it became life lesson time. It's like everything we're talking about right now. We need to continually hammer home those messages, like Toph is saying, even more so than the hockey messages at those younger ages, because that will lead to more development and better hockey players and obviously better human beings.
Well, yeah, just to kind of piggyback on you, you're holding that kid accountable because you like him. If you didn't like him, you wouldn't help the kid. So and that's back to your life lesson. That's a good message to, hey, if a coach is hard on you, that means he likes you. Take it as a compliment, right? Like if I,
be grateful for it.
Yeah. Like if I were, in Toph, we were coached hard. We were coached really hard in college. And if you keep that frame of mind, it's kind of easy to think they don't like you. But, if you're holding a kid accountable, that means you are rooting for the kid. You care.
I think one thing coaches, especially nowadays, because kids are a little bit different. They're not crazy drastically different, but they're definitely a little bit different. The times are different, all that stuff. And I'm sure every generation says that. I think my dad walked uphill both ways in the snow to school in June.
Mine too.
But just saying what you just said, like letting that kid know, because I could see that the kids were upset and embarrassed and things like that throughout the workout. Now, me doing this 18 years, I didn't stop them right away. I let them sit in that for the 45-minute session. I wanted them to feel awkward. I wanted them to feel that stuff. But then I brought them together and I said, "I'm not mad at you. It doesn't mean I don't like you. It's exactly what you're saying. It's because I care about you that I made you do that, because I want you to change that type of selfish behavior, because you will be happier. You'll be healthier. You'll be a better teammate. You'll be better at business. You'll be a better husband." And I was like, if you cheat here, you're going to cheat in practice. You're going to cheat in school. You're going to cheat on your wife when you get married later in life. Like, stop the cheating now and hold yourself accountable. And I promise you'll be a better hockey player and a better person. And, they both came up and shook my hand afterwards. And so coaches, like, make sure that when you are holding your team accountable and your players accountable, at some point, make sure you tell them, hey, and look them in the eye, because this is powerful. Like, this changes kids' lives. I've been doing this 18 years. I have seen the difference in the guys who buy into learning those lessons and taking them seriously versus the kids who shrug it off and they turn into whatever they turn into. And so, like, this stuff matters, coaches. Like, don't feel awkward to have that conversation. Hey, I would not stop you. I would not make you, do this punishment or whatever it is if I didn't like you. It's because I know where this leads if you continue this type of behavior, and you're too good of a kid to let that happen to you. So tomorrow, let's be 5 or 10 or 15 minutes early, and then we'll work on it every day after that. Something simple like that could literally change a teenage boy's life.
What was that? What was the saying? Remember that, Toph?
What's that?
10 minutes early or 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
I remember somebody saying that. That's what we live by.
Well, then I told the whole team, hey,
you're 5 minutes early. You're on time.
yeah. Yeah. Then I told the team, and by the way, when I was your age, I was playing in the USHL, and the coaches came in when a kid was 2 minutes early. He wasn't early enough, and they told me to fight him before the first practice of the season started. So I was like, just so you know, life is a lot different outside of this locker room.
Well, you know, Bex, too, what you did for that team, though, man, is you just put a shot of adrenaline in their culture. And, you know, talking about like the team stuff, I think that was one thing that in at least my career is like, I was a part of a couple championship teams. And like one of the common denominators was like, it was always the people on those teams. It was the culture on those teams, though. And it's like, it was when everyone's there on time, pulling for each other, it's a selfless culture. And, you know, that's why the Chiefs are what they are, or, you know, that's what Florida is, what it is right now. And you know what I mean? And that's a really, really important thing that, like, especially kids, I'm assuming those kids were like probably bantams or midgets or something, but like, they don't understand or appreciate culture yet. Like that's an experienced coach teaching them like, guys, this is what squeaks out a game you shouldn't win, or this is what keeps you together when your team's struggling or whatever it is, you know. And then the life skill of, we all love the game. Obviously, the hockey we loved it, but I think we all took more memories and experiences out of the game than the actual gameplay. You know, that's
such a great point. Such a great point. And what it said to the kids on the team who aren't the best players, you know, that those kids were just held accountable to the same standards as everybody else. That shot of adrenaline right there. I think actually going along the lines of what you guys are saying right now, I think something that I've learned, and it's more from like a parenting perspective. So like my wife and I, we kind of like send each other like funny Instagram parenting stuff, but we also kind of like send each other like serious parenting stuff. And one of the things I feel like that I've learned through that is they call it repair. So like as a parent, you're going to mess up a lot. Like you're going to say the wrong thing to your kid. You're going to do something wrong. Like we mess up literally every day, multiple times a day when it comes to raising our kids. And, you know, in a lot of the research that's being done or whatever, and I think this is where it comes into coaching too, is like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, like don't be afraid to push kids a little bit. Because I feel like a lot of times, especially with the best players on a team at the youth levels, coaches are like afraid to like be hard on them, you know, for fear of whether, you know, what mom and dad are going to say, or fear of, you know, they're going to, like our conversation earlier, they're going to like bounce to another organization or whatever. But like Vex, what you did there with the repair, so you held him, you were hard on him by holding him accountable to a standard, but then what did you do after that? Then hey, this is why. And that's like the repair. We're like, I'm going to piss you off because I'm going to hold you to a standard. But then the debrief afterwards is just as important, if not more important than the actual holding accountable of the kid. And that's where, like, when we were growing up, there was none of that repair. It was like, I'm holding you accountable. And then you're in your head thinking my coach hates me, you know, for the next 3 weeks, until a little nugget came in or whatever. But like you doing that and saying, okay, this is why I did that, and it's because I expect a lot of you, and whatever it may be, like that's what I think is so powerful in coaching, because we do have to get kids outside of their comfort zone. We do have to hold them to a high standard and hold them accountable to that. But then there's going to be times we'll mess up, or there's going to be times where they don't like it. And that's where that repair, that debrief is everything. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I just feel like that's a big part of it, especially when it comes to like getting the kids to buy into what you're doing. And also from like, even maybe like a mental health perspective, they understand why it is that you held them accountable instead of them just having to think about it on their own and come up to their own conclusions.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely spot on with that. You know, like, cause it is, I mean, like I deal with, you know, a lot of the camps that I have in the summertime are those tough years, like the middle school ages. Those are tough years. So, and what some of the things we discuss about is way bigger than hockey. It's way bigger than hockey. You know, not everyone's going to go on. Not everybody has the same goal in hockey. Not everybody's going to, maybe your goal might be to play really good high school hockey. Your goal may be whatever. Not everybody shares the same thing. So when I'm talking with these kids, it's work focused, right? I think like when I have these discussions, actually I was picking Cam Abbott came into town playing the Monsters here, and he was talking about the biggest skill difference from a guy who sticks in the NHL and or a guy that goes up and down, sort of thing, was he thought it was self-awareness. Guys knowing themselves and knowing their roles. He says that's the biggest skill that determines whether a guy stays up or is going to be sent back down. And so I'm having these talks with these kids, and it's the basic question: who are you? And it gets quiet, and I'll do it for them. Congratulations! I can sum everybody up in this room in 2 words: you are all student athletes. You've been defined. I've just defined you. So then what does that mean, right? So then how can we, if we know who we are, right, and if we want to live that authentic life, right, well, why not get ourselves the mentality of like, can I become the best student I can be? Can I become the best athlete I can be? And then it goes from there. But I think it's very important to talk about that. And, I'm a big believer, for me personally, I build my confidence through work, right? I wasn't the most skilled guy. I wasn't I'm not 6'4", skate around like the wind, right? But my confidence came through, I was willing to do more than other guys in the off season. And that's how I build it. And that is bigger than hockey, right? If you want anything in life, if you have the mentality that you're going to have to work for it and outwork people, that can take you a long way, skill or not,
I think for me, that's why I personally fell in love with the gym, because I tell kids all the time, doesn't matter how much money you have, you can't pay to make yourself stronger without actually doing the work to get stronger. You could be a billionaire and you can't give me any money, and all of a sudden I can make you do 30 pull-ups. Not a freaking thing. And because it's so easily quantifiable. First week I came in here, I did 1 pull-up. At the end of the summer, I did 6. I had to work all summer long to do that. I did that. I have personally never seen anything in life, not even revolving sports, that builds more self-confidence than training, working out, the gym, because you cannot fake it. You cannot cheat. You can't look over at somebody else's answers. You can't chat GPT it for you kids listening right now. Okay. You can only put in that work. And I believe that when you learn how to get better at something, it teaches you how to get better at anything. And the gym is like so easy to see that you're getting better because it's just numbers going up, right? Every week, every month. And so, personally, that's why I love training people and I love the gym, because you cannot cheat it. And it gives you like instant self-gratification because you had to earn your workout.
Yeah.
Boom. Mic drop.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Your software needs to be compliant to win deals, but you also need your engineers focused on building your product, not pulling SOC 2 evidence. Enter a third option. Make Vanta your first security hire. Vanta uses AI and automation to get you compliant fast, simplify your audit process, and unblock deals, so you can prove to your customers that you take security seriously. Plus, Vanta scales right along with you, backed by support that's there when you need it every step of the way. That's why top startups like Cursor, Linear, and Replit use Vanta to get and stay secure. Don't SOC block your best engineer. Set them free and get compliant fast with Vanta. Get started at Vanta.com.
Well, you guys both, like, I'd love to ask you guys because I would say, based on your guys' trajectory of your careers, you outkicked your coverage as far as how far you went in this game. And you probably made it further than your talent would have probably gotten you had you not learned some of these things that we're talking about right now. You know, like Russ, you played how many years in the AHL? You know, Charlie, you played a ton of years of pro hockey over in Europe. Neither drafted. So like, there's a lot of kids out there. There are a lot of kids out there right now, and particularly with the college rule changes, and it just became a lot harder to play college hockey with the major junior rules. There's a lot of kids who are probably in that scenario where, you know what, we're going to have to maybe do something above and beyond to end up reaching our dreams. Maybe a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old that hasn't quite gotten the accolades that they don't have the commitment yet. They didn't get drafted into the junior league that they wanted to, which, you know, most of us didn't have. Like, so if you had any kind of like advice or anything that you could, any story even that you can go back to in your career when you were around that age, or, you know, Russ, you're even talking about, like, I hit my peak at like 25, you know, 25 to 30, you know, before you hit that peak, what would you advise, you know, some of these kids that have that dream that maybe haven't gotten the results right away to do or to think about as they're on their journey to get there?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's obviously extremely cliche, but I think there's so much power of, like, I figured out how to control my controllables. In fact, probably similar to you, like, you know, coming through, like, played some good levels and played with some players that were really good. Where, you know, being very, very objective, like, I was outclassed in a lot of different hockey skilled things, the way their brains worked, the way they could score or whatever. But probably through junior, especially through college, like, I kind of figured out really quickly, I can find a level that a lot of people can't mentally and physically, that I can engage. And it's such a controllable thing that I'm going to be in the best possible shape I can be. My first NHL training camp, I went to Nashville's camp, like undrafted free agent, signed with Milwaukee. Like, I was top 3 in every single strength category, every single fitness controllable thing. I was behind Wade Belak, behind Shea Weber, skating test behind Martin Erat. I mean, these are like generationally just sensational savant players, skill-wise, not in a conversation with any one of them, but it was things that nothing's going to prevent me from going and working out every single day and taking care of what I put in my body and bagging the shit out of myself every single time I can on the ice or finding a hill. And I think I had a lot of power, and Charlie already said it, but I got so much confidence through my work. And I believed in I believed in myself. I didn't need anyone else to believe in me. And that's something that, I mean, I personally try to preach to my players of, at the end of my, like, practices and workouts, it's like, however hard you think you were going, I promise you there's 10 more layers to that. Find them. Get yourself to that metabolic threshold and then push through it. And 99.9% of the kids I'm talking to are not national program kids. They're all going to be undrafted free agents, probably not maybe Division I top prospects. And the power of that is then that's a life skill. I mean, that's okay. Now go drive a business, go drive a marriage, go do whatever you're going to do in life. But it is so controllable, and it gave me, and it opened up so many opportunities that you're absolutely right. Like I absolutely overachieved in my career purely from a skill standpoint, playing in the games and at the levels I played in. But it was cool because it was all controllable things that were, ironically, took very minimal resources financially. You got to get on the ice. That's a resource, of course, but like beyond that, like it wasn't coming from money. It wasn't having, a dad that was an NHLer or an uncle. I literally no one in my family tree ever even walked into a hockey rink before my parents put me in it. And it was just, okay, put in the work and be proud of that. And then, that's at least for me was the best advice I can have for any kid. And that's transcended to every single level, honestly, like from a squirt to a kid trying to get a pro contract.
Beat that, Cooker.
Well,
have fun trying to beat that, buddy.
I'm trying, bud. I'm trying. No.
That was unreal, dude. Like,
yeah, I'm ready to do some push-ups in this.
There you go. I think, so if you know my game, I think I was really, and I'm not talking about the ice. You can laugh at me, but I was really good at this. Okay. And today,
can you describe what that is for the people on a podcast?
Blinders.
Who can't see you?
I had pretty good blinders. Okay. So like, and the kids coming through today, it's tough. Like you can go on Instagram, you can see what everybody's doing, what everyone's at, who's everyone playing or whatever. But I was really good at having that on and being excited and happy where I was at. Okay. So like when I was playing junior hockey, that was my focus. How can I earn that power play? How can I help this team? And I was there in the moment. Like, I had my goal of that, but that wasn't going to happen unless I excelled here. When I got to Cornell, like I'm 5'11", 185 pounds. Like this was pre-lockout facts. The average size was 230 was a D man, the old clutch and grab, right? That my game, that wasn't going to be my game. I was going to be happy. I remember our first Florida tournament where I saw the Everblades play, and I just remember sitting there as a freshman going, oh man, would this be amazing to step foot on the ice? That's where my head was at, right? Trying to be a good college hockey player, trying to help that team when I was in college. That's what it was. Senior year, I knew I wasn't going to get a chance to play pro hockey without our team having success. I wasn't. I was undrafted. If we were on a losing team and I had the A on that year, that ain't helping me. So I was really good at being present where I was at and taking care of that instead of worrying about the next step. And unfortunately, we do have a lot of conversations with players that they're in junior hockey and their entire focus is already a year or two out. And I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah, they don't execute.
Right.
They don't take care of the job today.
So yeah, I was really good at that, Toph. Does that make
Hey, Russ came in with some fire, dude. And then you're pretty good too. You're pretty good too.
No, but it's so true though. Like both of what you guys said is so awesome. And it comes down to intentionality and wherever your feet are right now, do everything you can to be the best you can at whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing, you're taking a test, try to get the best grade in the class. Yeah. You're running a race in gym class, try and win that effing race, and when you start to live that way, everything changes because you get better faster. You fail quicker. When you actually try, you fail quicker and then you learn and then you adapt and then you're better instantly. And man, I'm fired up right now. I want to
let's go.
We go to the gym right now.
The boys are back. The boys are back.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Look at him, eating whatever he wants, never gaining a pound. While I'm stuck with the boring special and can't lose an ounce.
How's your lunch, man?
Amazing. Yours?
So good.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Cool, buddy.
Weight loss isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. The affordable GLP-1 source that can fix your frustration with food.
So, same time next week?
No!
Definitely.
And your friends. Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
I do want to ask you about what you're doing now in the Cleveland area. Russ, you started the Ohio Hockey Project and brought Cooker in when he moved into town there. Tell us a little bit about what the Ohio Hockey Project is, why you started it back in the day, and just kind of some of the stuff that you guys are doing.
Yeah, we're heading into our 16th season with OHP, and it was, kind of started really when I was in college. I was coming home, I'm helping my alma mater, my high school, and I'm telling a story that probably every hockey player ever told, is just filled with so much gratitude of coaches that helped me along the way, and so appreciative of where I was at. Knowing I still have a long ways to go, but coming back to, okay, how can I help kids in my area? And it kind of became my second love of, I love coaching. I love helping kids. I really had a pay it forward mentality of knowing what coaches did for me and how they cared for me. And if I could do that for the next kids coming through, that's why I'm on this earth, I think. It was, hey, we're just coming back. It was kind of just helping higher level kids at that 16 to 18 midget level, kids that want to do what I was doing, get to junior, get to college and beyond. And then year over year it grew. And, at this point in my career, I played with some amazing coaches, legendary coaches, learned stuff that was at least in my mind, just mind blowing of how you train, how you prepare, how you approach the game from an occupational standpoint. And I was like, whoa, no one ever told me that in my little bubble in Cleveland. I didn't all these things that I believe were life-changing aspects to the game and development. So it was cool. So then it's wow, kids in our area didn't have that exposure, didn't see that. So it was kind of year over year, we just kind of added another layer. The programs got a little bit younger. We got a little bit bigger. We got more inclusive, that you didn't just have to be a super high level player with a future in junior college. It was, you love the game. We love the game. We're going to get you better. And then we've talked about it a lot in this call, but it was the life skills of the game, which we all just love so much. And it grew. Summer over summer, it grew, and we started doing more and expanding what we're doing, to the point that now we're in a world where we're literally working with in 2 back-to-back hours. We'll get off the ice with players that are playing at a National Hockey League or an Olympic team level, and going on the ice with Cleveland mini monsters that are 3-year-olds that are literally skating for the first time, literally in back-to-back hours. And we're year round. I mean, obviously the spring and summer is when it's really kind of go time, when kids are out of school and out of season. But, we're doing everything that's developmentally focused. And in our mind, it was never an end game of where's this kid going to go. It's be present where you are today. Let's get as good as you can. we're so lucky that, guys like Charlie have come into our world, and Shannon Zavados and Brianne McLaughlin and Walker Summer, and these amazing coaches that are currently playing at a high level, that we all share a lot of commonalities of just, we love the game. We love helping kids at all levels. It's a very, very inclusive thing we're doing, with very, very intentional divisions of kids are on a path here, kids are on a path there, but we all share the same love of the rink and the game. And we don't do teams. We don't do tournaments. We're really, really intentional on the aspect of the industry that we focused on, that we're so passionate about, which is player development. And I feel like we're ever growing. I think we're very, very far from a finished product. I think we're twice as good as we were last year, maybe half as good as we're going to be next year, type of mentality,
Ooh, I like, ooh.
There's that.
Is that an ECAC thing?
It's going on the wall.
I know.
But,
Vex's next tattoo. There we go. And Charlie, I mean, you joined not too long ago, and you got the bug, man. Like, I could tell, like, we have good different conversations, and Vex, I should show you actually the picture that Cooker sent me this morning from when we won our ECACs. There's like everybody, and then there's like me, just like everybody's armpit. So bad. Anyway,
what's going on?
But like, Cooker, you love the game on the same capacity that all of us do. What helped you get the bug, and how much are you enjoying your time working with Russ and everybody else you just mentioned there with OHP there?
Yeah, man. Like, getting to know the best part of how we found out that we knew each other was, it was an early morning skate for just old guys, and he was telling a story. And that was during the second lockout. And I turned to him and I was like, I was there, dude. That's how that connection started. And it went from there. And
but what's the story?
What's that?
We got time for the story?
Oh yeah.
What's the story?
All right. We were during the lockout. He's playing Alaska. I'm playing Vegas. And they had all the NHL guys down. Was it Joey Crabb? Who was there? Gomez?
Gomez, Dubinsky, Crabb, Nate Thompson.
So
our team was really good.
So they invited, in fact, when that lockout broke, Alaska lost 90% of their scoring. 90%. That's when the Wranglers started to steamroll the league. Anyway, their guys took us out to the club after the game, and we were in Trist, and we were in the their VIP area, and I just remember that their backup goalie was passed out on the couch, gone. In the middle of the club, and he was telling the story, and I was like, "Oh, I was there." We're all like, "Is he alive?"
But the thing is, the kid passes out, loses his phone, gets bounces, just throw him into the alley. We have like an 8 a.m. flight. Our coach Rob Murray, not an easy guy to play for. This goalie I kind of vouched for because he was a Cleveland kid, just graduated or whatever. I was like, "Oh, he's a great kid. We need him. He's gonna be awesome." Goes free trip to Vegas, blacks out at a club, gets thrown out, loses his phone, misses the flight. On the plane, the head coach looks back at me. He's like, "Character guy, Sink." And then I get traded the next week.
No, really?
I get traded to Gwinnett the next week. But then Charlie's like, "Wait, I was at the club. Dude.
I was there.
That goalie. They flash lit him and they threw him out."
I was there.
Oh yeah.
Charlie was the one feeding him drinks. He's the one that got him.
No, like Topher with Ohio Hockey Project. Like, I was so excited to bring. I was trying to recreate a setting that I had out in Minnesota. I used to develop out there at Minnesota hockey camps with the Grillo family, and I just remember being 15 and surrounded by guys that were playing at the level that I wanted to be at. And I remember coming out of that training center and thinking that I worked hard. I was pretty proud of myself. And then I watched all these studs come in, guys from St. Cloud, guys that went on and won Stanley Cups or whatever, but they were all in college at the time. And I remember they kind of moved our little baby hurls off to the side and got the big boys out and threw the 40-pound, 50-pound vest on. And I was like, oh, I'm not even close. And so when we would play games, they would have the college pro guys play each other, the junior level guys. And then there was a group of us that we were all motivated kids. We all got along and we all held on to each other. And out of that group, there's 5 of us. One guy won 2 Stanley Cups, Matt Green. You had Leighton, who played at Northern Michigan, coached Northern Michigan. He's at Shattuck. Yeah, I grew up with these guys. The other guy, Lee Hun, played St. Cloud with Major Junior, American Hockey League. We trained every summer together, and we just formed a bond because, we were stuck there for 5 weeks together, so you need some buds to hang out with, and it was just like a natural thing. But I just remember, like, during the games where we would be that third line and we were watching guys that are playing college pro hockey and just honing in, being like, casual conversation. Oh my God, did you just see that? I'm going to try that. I'm going to steal that. So I had that setting. I tried it when I was playing. I used to run a camp selfishly. I used to drag the Abbotts over, and that's how we did. It was college kids. My dad was coaching. Papa Cook had a really good midget team, and these kids were like 14, 15, 16, and they were watching us play. And, and I look at some of the players that moved from that group. Like, we had a guy, Chad Billings, he played the NHL, was an Olympian.
Sick.
Yeah, like these guys, Jack Campbell, the goalie, was there that year. Like, look at the career he went to have on. And there was nothing more frustrating than being a pro hockey player and a 14-year-old flashing glove on you, like, not flinching. We were all just like,
Rex wouldn't know. He doesn't.
We're like, what's going on here?
Goalies didn't save my shot, so I have no idea.
So what I really wanted to bring here was that setting. And it's like, the first thing that comes out of my mouth, I have not invented this, right? So, like, could we get our core of college coaches training with the younger kids underneath? And it becomes less about like what I'm saying as a coach or whatever. It's an opportunity for them to see the level that they want to be at, how they skate that drill, like that different tempo, right? That intensity. They can measure themselves on ice with them. It's pretty clear without saying a word. They can see what they're physically at off ice. You want to be a college hockey player? Well, that's where you need to be in this, at least in this facet. So it's a great way to, and you see it, and you see kids buy in and get excited and want more without saying a word, because they're seeing guys at the level they want to be at completely own it. So that's one of the biggest things that is so much fun for me, because I was that kid at 15 being like, oh my gosh, I really need to kick it in gear here. I'm not even close. If that makes sense.
I went to that Brainerd camp after my third year in the USHL before my freshman year. I went right before, like a week before I was leaving to go to Western Michigan. I just got to give a shout out to them. I mean, what an amazing environment. Like you said, I remember watching, I was there for 2 weeks. Me and a couple of my buddies went up there, and I remember watching Ryan Malone and some other guys who were either college studs. They were pro probably by then. He was in the NHL, and like, again, like watching what they were doing and then try and go in and do it. And I mean, I was probably lifting more weights than them, but that's just part of my life. But the whole environment of the camp and just everybody there to get better, it was really, really cool. Kind of wish in my pro career I maybe would have went back there just for like a tune-up week right before training camp started, because that was a really, do they still do that? That was a great camp.
They sold the camp. It's still there. It's I think it's owned by the Stewart brothers now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was there from age 13 all the way through age 23, all the way up to my second American Hockey League contract. And like, yeah, I mean,
cool.
it was those guys, and it was just eye opening, and like, what an awesome space to just be with like-minded people with doing great things in the game, pushing each other, leaning on each other. Like, that's, we talk about it all the time. Like, you can't do it on your own. You need to have peer relationships. You need to find your group and stick with each other and push. And Russ didn't really mention this, but this is how this all started. Would you call it the fellas?
The fellas.
The fellas.
Well, but to that point, Charlie's point though, like, Vex, I mean, we talked about it off air, but like, I spent 4 summers down in St. Louis getting a piece of an environment that you guys had that I so cherished as an outsider. But, the story, and players around the world will have similar stories, but like just, Jamal Mayers, Bryce Salvador, Bear Jackman, I'm on the ice with those guys, and I'm in the gym, and it's guys that they were paying it forward, welcoming me. At the time I was a college hockey player, not at their level, and those morning skate. I mean, Vex, you were there with me. I mean, the Stasny brothers and all of those, David Back is coming on the ice, all those Blues guys like Tyson, like it was so infectious in such a positive way of that environment. Charlie has his story from Minnesota. You have the same. I have from St. Louis. And it's that mentality. I'm sure you bring it to your gyms. We bring it to what we do with OHP of just a super, super high quality culture of we're here to work hard. We're here to bring each other up. We're here to push each other, challenge each other, and get each other all better together. Yeah, I mean, again, I never partook in any of these Minnesota things, but when I hear Charlie's stories, I'm like, I know exactly what he's talking about because I had my version in my career at different stages, and that's a special thing, and it's a really, really hard thing to bottle. It's a really hard thing to create, but when you have it, yeah, you guys are winning Stanley Cups and getting pro contracts and scholarships or whatever it is, and that's a really special thing. Big time, man.
100%, guys. Man, this has been like such a genuine conversation, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like that's the word that comes to mind. It's been so fun for the last hour or so that we've been together, just like talking genuinely about the game that we all love and are giving back to right now. Just amazing stuff. So thank you guys so much. Actually, where, like social media, website, all that kind of stuff, like if people are interested to learn a little bit more, where can they find you guys?
Yeah, all the social media, it's at O Hockey Project, website, Ohio Hockey Project. Stay tuned on social media. We're always just trying to do simple tips. We try to be funny. Sometimes we're not that funny, but try to have fun with the social media. And like, it's not a salesy thing of sign up here, do this. We love the game. We got a passionate group of professionals that love giving back to our community and those who follow us. And then on the development side, if you're ever passing through the Cleveland area, we've got a wonderful partnership with a number of city rinks and communities in Lakewood, Ohio, and in the city of Lakewood, and some beautiful facilities that we get to call home. And, look us up, stay in touch with us.
There we go. I love it. Well, we want to keep you guys for another couple minutes to do our 10 questions. That'll be housed in our Hockey Think Tank community. But this was just an awesome hour of talking shop, guys. Charlie, love you, man. One of my favorite teammates, like all the other teammates I've had on here too, as Vex said. And Russ, no, I just what you've built there, man. I mean, you got to be so proud of what you guys been able to build, and it's obviously grown so much. And what turned out as a passion project is now your life, and that's really, really cool. So it looks like Vex is taking a little picture here. Get my good side. I don't really have a good side.
He's texted all of his buddies from St. Louis. Like, you remember this dude? I don't remember this guy.
He did actually. He texted me. He was like,
I did college skating with Diana, and then I'd get on and.
It was 7 inches smaller.
One funny story about that St. Louis, though. There was a guy, I don't even know if I should remember I should mention his name or not. Respected the hell out of his game. He was a defenseman, played college. Maybe you'll guess his name. If you guess his name and you want to say it, you can. Very good defenseman, very talented, played in the American League, played in the NHL. He was my age, but I just absolutely admired everything about him. The biggest accident, total, whatever. I shoot the puck. My stick goes up his stick. I bash his nose in like a 4-on-4 shinny game. I felt like the biggest POS in the facility because I was like probably like the worst guy on the ice too. And here is like my idol, who's my birth year, bleeding everywhere, MFing me down the ice, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't have any friends here.
Was it Alex Brooks?
He's gonna fight me. I'm like, what's going on here? Luckily,
was it Brooksy?
No. Brooksy was my guy. Brooksy probably would have had
best
my
guy
back.
ever.
It was Butler.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'm sure he was
Brooksy
super happy about that.
Oh, he hated me, and it was an accident, and I apologized.
Hey, and anybody listening, if you haven't heard our podcast with Chris Butler, it's an old one, but a lot of people have told us that's one of their favorite episodes of all time, and it's a really, really inspiring episode too. So if you haven't listened to that one, definitely get on and listen to that one.
Chris, if you're
For sure.
listening, I'm 40 years old and I'm sorry. It was an accident.
I love it, guys. Well, yeah, we're going to keep you for another couple minutes for 10 questions. That'll be in Hockey Think Tank U. If you want to head over there, go to httU.thehockeythinktank.com. But Russ Sinkewich, Charlie Cook, appreciate your time today, fellas.
Thanks, guys.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from your YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, this crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
Your software needs to be compliant to win deals, but you also need your engineers focused on building your product, not pulling SOC 2 evidence. Enter a third option. Make Vanta your first security hire. Vanta uses AI and automation to get you compliant fast, simplify your audit process, and unblock deals so you can prove to your customers that you take security seriously. Plus, Vanta scales right along with you, backed by support that's there when you need it every step of the way. That's why top startups like Cursor, Linear, and Replit use Vanta to get and stay secure. Don't SOC block your best engineer. Set them free and get compliant fast with Vanta. Get started at Vanta.com.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.